So fleet management is a system that will manage the test and prototype vehicle fleet within North America and Europe and eventually globally. So these vehicles are very expensive, and if we can build fewer of them, we can save a lot of money. By using the system, we're going to increase the utilization of those vehicles and therefore not have to build as many. So we had to make sure that this system was developed so that it would be very easy to use. The challenge was to design a solution that did not require any training at all from the end users.
At the end of the day, as the project comes to completion, we're very satisfied that we've got a positive result. We had a lot of bumps along the way, but the product we have now that we're launching is user-friendly and meets the needs of our customers.
We had finished up the initial phase of development using the classic method. And when we were near the end of the development cycle, we brought the users in to look at the application. And it became very obvious very early that the system was not usable enough to meet their requirements.
So when we first got involved with this project about a year ago, we had a vendor that wasn't delivering. We had spent months developing specs around the screen. Once we showed the customer, who was pretty IT savvy, they were not happy, and the feedback was that the screens were not usable. Our team on our side was getting frustrated, and it was just a pretty bad situation.
Choice of Agile for FMS was a pretty natural fit for that particular project. We were at a point where, especially around the user interface and flow, there was a disconnect between what the business was seeking and what IT was delivering.
PD and IT got together and decided to develop some Java J2E screens to be on top of the Maximo application so that we could provide the users some greater flexibility and usability, but at the same time leverage what was already done for the Maximo application. All the developers and IT personnel were co-located at PDC. This allowed us to facilitate faster development and be right there with the business partners to get questions answered as quickly as possible. We did development sessions with the business customers and the developers and also the creative people in the same sessions, and that allowed us to get quickly to designs of the screens, get feedback immediately from the business customers, and also make changes on the fly to help facilitate the design and also get their buy-in to the screens as quickly as possible.
Every morning we had a meeting with all the participants on the team and made sure that everyone knew what the tasks were for the day, and we addressed any issues that were involved. Every 2 or 3 weeks we were delivering content that the business could then review and evaluate. Any issues or items that we could not address in the current cycle were logged in the backlog and then addressed in the next cycle.
We're using the industry framework and our Ford framework and the best practice help make the code reusable and also the maintainable. Basically, the two perspectives is maintainability and reusability. We create a reusable assets, and also we don't need to reinvent the wheel for lots of already very matured code. So we save lots of time to make our development more agile.
My impression was that they were vastly superior to the traditional IT project approach. It really allowed us to work together and iterate to a solution and not get off the path at all along the way. We were working hand in hand, side by side, the IT folks. There was one question that was asked about does this approach take a lot of time? And the answer is it does take quite a lot of time. You have to be quite dedicated to work together. But in the experience of this project, where we did it kind of both ways, I think the net time it takes is less, because you don't have to spend all the time defining, and then after something comes back and it wasn't quite exactly what you thought, you don't have to spend as much time going over things after they've delivered a product. So I thought that was a big improvement in the second phase of this process. Well, I would strongly recommend that they do that approach, because it's going to allow you to deliver a project much closer to your original goals. In this project, since we had the experience of doing it two different ways, the traditional way, there was a lot more, one side does one thing, we define requirements, and then the IT team goes off and develops those requirements. With the Agile approach, when working hand in hand, any disconnects or misunderstandings were raised just absolutely immediately, where we told them something, they interpret it, and the next day they'd bring it back and say, this is what we heard, and I'd say, no, that wasn't what I meant. And we could fix it right then and get immediately back on track.
By adopting an Agile approach for FMS, we were able to bring the business and IT a lot closer together in terms of getting that alignment. And it went through a very iterative process. We were able to get through screen designs that had taken months to finalize, with business satisfaction done in a matter of weeks. And really that tight alignment that we were able to establish, and really delivering results and iterating upon them, was what made that such a great fit for the FMS project.
I think the best part of the project were the results. There were no surprises. Everything that they had a hand in designing came to fruition. The screens were exactly the way they wanted it. We made the back end work, which was outside of the interaction with the customer, but it all worked beautifully. It worked exactly the way they wanted it, and we're now deploying it worldwide. So we've got a happy customer.
This project was a great success story from my standpoint, because I observed the project right from the beginning, and when we started, when we hit the roadblocks, we were able to actually come and deliver the project. So there was a big story around accountability from an IT standpoint. That was a big positive influence on the relationships with business partners, and it also validated the value proposition from Agile methodology standpoint, which has big benefits for other projects with similar characteristics. All in all, it was a great teamwork and collaborative experience, I think, which essentially reinforces one Ford and one team mindset, which was a great experience for me as well.
We have three main building blocks within the program: refining our iterative process, energizing our solution development platform, and accelerating reuse. And the FMS project is a case study of each of these three components being integrated while they delivered the project. So it gives me great encouragement that we have a very good case study that makes us believe very strongly that we are in the right direction.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, what we're really trying to focus on as an organization within AD and also in IT is to really create value for our business partners. And I see Agile software development and all the infrastructure and tooling around that as a key enabler in creating value for our business partners more rapidly. So it's really about that rapid realization of business value. And Agile software development really helps structure engagements to do that.